Welcome, scientists. Today's topic is structure and function, with still talking about the human body systems. And our essential question is, how does the structure of a specialized object determine its function? Our instructions are to have your Cornell Notes template set up. Over here on our left, just in case we need a reminder, here is our Cornell Notes template with our topic, name, period, and date in this corner. Essential question down below, space for notes, space for questions, and a space for summary down at the end. So before we move on, make sure you have that all set up and you're ready to go. The first thing that we need to talk about is what specialized actually means. And so when we say specialized, when we say something is specialized, it is designed for a particular purpose. Our example here is workers that specialize with training to do a certain job. In this particular organization, we've got some people that are working to build a house. And so over here, we've got someone who has specialized in how you would need to get the permits for shipping, how to get all of the materials, where you would get all of the materials, all of those things. Then we've got someone who is going to inspect the house. This person needs to know what are all of the rules and regulations for how a house needs to be set up, and how to inspect the house for saying, okay, this electrical wiring isn't quite correct, or we need to redo this type of framing. Then we've got someone who is specialized with how to paint the house, someone who has undergone different training for how to put siding on the house, and then our last person, someone who can actually frame the house so they can build kind of the bones of the house. And all of these people have to work together in order to complete their job, because each has training in a particular part and can't do the jobs of the others in the organization. So I want you to think of some examples of some objects that are designed for a particular purpose. So objects that are specialized, and add at least 3 objects and their purpose to your notes. In a second, I'll bring up my 3 brainstorms, and here they are. Examples that I came up with are, we've got a wheel. Well, wheel's purpose is to roll. Typically, you put wheels on things like carts and such, and it makes them really easy to carry along. If wheels were, for example, square, it'd be a lot harder to roll them. Another example I came up with is a pencil. A pencil is really useful, and its purpose is to write things with. Now, if a pencil was, for example, made out of if it was made out of steel, then it wouldn't really be able to sharpen it, and when your pencil got dull, well, you'd be left with a dead pencil. Or if it didn't have an eraser on the end, well, you wouldn't be able to erase anything with the end of that pencil. So the design of the pencil is instrumental in it fulfilling its purpose. And the last one we've got is a bucket. The design of the bucket is for holding things such as water. If you're trying to carry water in a bucket with holes, I'm sure you know what's going to happen. The water's going to leak out of there. It's not going to be very good at its job. So its form, its structure is integral in its ability to actually hold things. So the structure and function, when we're talking about body systems, we talk about our cells, our organs, our organ systems, and we say that the structure of those determines its function. The structure being its shape and function being its job. So if we had a cell or an organ system and it was put together differently, it wouldn't be able to do its job correctly. That's part of the problems when we get with diseases. They are changing the structure of our cells. Remember our sickle cell anemia? That was the disease that the kids in the video, they changed the structure of the cell, the shape of the cell, turning it from a round cell into a banana-shaped cell, and it wasn't able to complete its job of delivering oxygen to their bodies. Our case study here, we've got a heart cell. The science name for our heart cell is our cardiomyocyte. Our shape of a heart cell is elongated and branched, and the key feature of our heart cell is that it has a lot of mitochondria. The job of our heart cell is to be physically very strong and to have a lot of energy that's used to keep our heart beating throughout the lifetime. So over here on the side, we've got a couple kind of complicated diagrams, but we can see that our heart cell, it's this entire space right here. So we've got the border right there. We've got the nucleus right there in the middle, and then you can see that it's branched, and its branching is connected to some of the other heart cells by these really, really tight junctions. There's a whole bunch of mitochondria right in there, and then this is a picture of what our heart cells actually look like under the microscope. And you can see if the heart cell was changed, so if it wasn't strong enough to hold together, our muscle could rip. It would be very, very unfortunate for us if our heart muscles ripped. If we didn't have a bunch of mitochondria, what do you think might happen to our heart cells? How do mitochondria help the heart muscle to have lots of energy? Our next case study is our nerve cell, which our science name is our neuron. Shape of the nerve cell is very long and thin and has branching ends. And these nerve cells, if you were assigned to have the brain in our Understanding Stem Cells activity, should be pretty familiar to you. Our key feature of these nerve cells is that they have myelin sheaths right there. And the function of the nerve cells is to efficiently transmit messages within the brain and throughout the body. Your body is completely filled with nerve cells all throughout your skin, all throughout your organs. They're everywhere because without them, we wouldn't be able to send our messages. The shape of our nerve cell, it's branching, it covers a lot of area, and then it's really long and it's connected to the others. So how do you think that might help it in doing its job to transmit messages? Our final case study is our red blood cell. Our science name for a red blood cell is the erythrocyte. Our shape is very small, round, and flexible with a thin, thin cell membrane. Key feature of our red blood cell is that it has no nucleus, and instead what it has is this molecule called hemoglobin. It's a protein. And red blood cells are just filled with hemoglobin. It's one of the very, very unique parts of our blood. It's actually what makes our blood look red. And the entire purpose of hemoglobin is to carry oxygen to different parts of our body. The function of our red blood cells is to flow through the blood vessels and carry oxygen. So I want you to think about, how is having hemoglobin and being very small and flexible helpful to the job of the red blood cell? Our vocabulary that we covered in this lesson was specialized and specialization, structure, function, and then heart cell, nerve cell, and red blood cell. All right, scientists, that is it. As always, stay curious, ask questions, and have a great day.